guys, it's Ashley, and today I want to share with you the books that I read in the month of January, as well as the books that I am hoping to read in the month of February. I do not do TBR videos. I don't make a TBR because I read what I want to read, but I am going to share with you the books that I am currently in process and some of the books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of... What month are we in? February. Totally forgot what month we were in. So let's just get right into it. I have been in a little bit of a reading slump for like the past 6 months. I just haven't been reading as much, so I'm trying to come back out of that. So in the month of January, I read 3 books, which is pretty darn great for what I've not read in the past several months. So the first book that I read in the month of January was Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. I finished this in the first couple of days of the month / year, because it's the same thing in January, and I really liked it. I know I'm totally late to the party on this one because the movie's been out for like several years, but I can now go see it, which is exciting. And by go see it, I mean rent it on my TV and watch it there, or Netflix. Maybe it's on Netflix. I have to look. Anyways, I read the book and it's really good. It's a zombie book. It is my first true zombie book, but it's still not like true zombies, so it's fine. It's not horror. It's really, really good actually. It's about this boy right here. I'm gonna come back to my pet peeve about this cover in a minute. R is a zombie. He has no recollection of his previous life at all, has no idea what he did, what his name is, anything like that. But he's a little bit different from the other zombies because he does have actual thoughts about things that aren't brains. He's just kind of going around, and then one day they're on a hunt and he meets this girl, and he, for some reason, decides not to kill her and eat her brain, and kind of disguises her and takes her back to his home. They live in an airport and he lives on a plane, and so he takes her back there and they strike up this weird friendship thing, kind of love, kind of friendship, what's going on, but he ate her boyfriend, so it's not a good thing at first. But as they get to know each other and as the days pass, things start to change for R and for a lot of the zombies. And so by the end of the book, you have this whole really great thing that I don't want to totally spoil. It was a really fun book. It was a really interesting book and not at all what I expected it to be. So I have ordered the second book and the novella. They should be here next week. So thank you to my friend Jessica for talking about this so much that I finally had to go out and buy it. I'm gonna leave her Instagram handle right here. She's got a great Bookstagram page, so go follow her if you want to. But I really loved this book. I really had nothing to dislike about it, except it did kind of move slightly slow in the beginning, but they're zombies, so everything's pretty slow, but really no actual complaints. My one complaint about the physical book is this cover, which I get it's the movie cover, but I take things very seriously with my books, as I know you guys do too. Throughout the book, he describes himself wearing a suit, so he thinks he was a businessman. This is not a suit. This is jeans and a ratty sweatshirt and a t-shirt, undershirt, but this is not a suit. This is not what he's supposed to be wearing. So why is he wearing this in the book, in the movie, whatever? Not accurate. This isn't him. Okay. Rant over. Next book. This next book, I am so excited that I got it, that I read it, and it doesn't come out till, hang on, April. I thought I had an actual date. I didn't think I just had a month. It doesn't come out till April 3rd. So I can't say a whole lot, but just know I loved this book. As soon as I saw on her Instagram that she had a book coming out, I was excited, and I immediately did a bunch of obsessive, creepy internet stalking to find out what publisher it was coming out with, and then I requested it online and through an email to the publisher requesting a copy. They have been fantastic. So the publisher is Convergent Books. I immediately got emails from them and a copy, and I'm so excited. The book is The Very Worst Missionary by Jamie Wright. I loved it. Every second. I read it on 2 different flights. I started it on one and finished it on the other, and completely loved this book. If you don't know Jamie Wright, she has a blog called The Very Worst Missionary. She started the blog when she was an actual missionary in Central America to kind of chronicle her family's life there and what they were doing, and she quickly kind of realized that the way American missions is done isn't the greatest. We miss a big chunk. We kind of just show up and do little things that we think are helping but aren't actually helpful. We raise all this money to go do it, but really we're kind of just paying for expensive vacations and not making a huge real difference in the area. And so she kind of explores a lot of that on her blog and now in this book, and talks about her experiences on the mission field and how she wants to change things and where things should change and kind of things like that. As somebody who's had these same thoughts and experiences, I loved this book. Love, love, love. So again, I can't say a whole lot about it until it comes out in April. I will do a full review video then. I'll probably read it again before then because like I just really loved it. It was really nice to read like my own thoughts in somebody else's words, if you know what I mean. Be warned. She does swear. She's, you know, the very worst missionary, not like the perfect missionary, but it's so good. So I will totally be having a full review video come the first week of April. And the last book that I read in the month of January was the Owl Crate book of the month for January. It was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And how gorgeous is this book? This is the special Owl Crate edition cover, and I love it so much. It's got the throne and the crown, and you've got the weeds growing up around it, and you've got to see it naked. Naked is the same as every version, but look at it. Oh, it's so pretty. This is, as you read the book, you figure out what it is, and I'll tell you because it's not a spoiler, but it's the symbol for the royal family. I think it's so cool. It's got the flowers on one side, it's got the thorns on the other, and then it's got the roots coming up, and it's all united with one crown, and it symbolizes the 3 different areas and whatever. It's so good. So this book is my first ever fairy book, which was an experience. I've never read fairy books. I've never really had much interest, but like I had the book, so why not? And everybody's been raving about it. So this follows Jude, who's 17 years old and has grown up for the past 10 years in fairy because when she was a child, she saw her parents murdered by this fairy. He stole her and her sisters away, and so now they live with him in fairy, and it's a whole screwed up thing. She's adjusted fairly well to fairy. She's still very angry, as you could imagine, and kind of uses that anger to propel her through and keep her safe in fairy, while her sister, on the other hand, kind of just tries to blend in. The throne is in sort of chaos because the king is about to step down and pass his power on to one of his sons. Nobody knows who, but there's like a favorite, you know, because there's always a favorite. And the youngest prince, Cardan, is giving Jude a really hard time and just like despises her. But at the same time that all this is going on, because it's, you know, a kingdom and there's always things going on, there are people who want to overthrow and not follow the king and all this sort of political intrigue and whatever. So it's really not a kind of book that otherwise I would have picked up, but I really enjoyed it, except for the fact it is the first in a series, and I didn't know that, and so now I have to wait a year, more, who knows, for the next book to find out what truly happens in this. They didn't leave on a total cliffhanger. Like, things were pretty much wrapped up. You just didn't know what was going to happen next. I thought it was really fun, really interesting. There were some parts that dragged a little bit, or it could have just been me being tired, but overall, I think it was really enjoyable. Even if you haven't read fairy or it's not your thing, it's a good entrance into that kind of a world. It was pretty easy to understand. I did have to Google a couple of words because I wasn't sure what they meant, but otherwise, it was great. I fully enjoyed myself with this book. So those are the books that I read in the month of January. Now let me share with you some of the books that I am hoping to read or continue reading in the month of February. The first one is one that I've been reading for the majority of January, but it's not an easy book to fly through, and so I'm kind of just taking my time because I want to actually learn from it and not just like read it for the sake of reading it. And this is How to Stop Feeling Like Shit by Andrea Owen. This is her second book. The first one is 52 Ways to Live a Kick-Ass Life, which I've talked about here before. I read it a couple of years ago. And so it's a follow-up. It talks about the 14 habits that are holding you back from happiness. It's awesome. I'm only like 3 or 4 chapters in because like I need to read it and digest it and like apply it before I move on to the next one. But she talks about things like people pleasing and the way your negative self-talk is destroying you because you treat yourself like crap. The chapter I just finished was on checking out, basically using TV or internet or whatever to just totally check out and not actually deal with any of your problems, which, hello, guilty. So I'm really trying to learn from this book and pay attention to things, and so I'm taking my time with it. So I'm hoping to finish it in the month of February, but maybe not because it's not a book that I want to pick up and read when I've had like a really long, crappy day at work. It's something I want to read and digest over time. So we'll see how much of this I get done in the month of February. The next book on my list is another pre-release. I don't have a release date for this actually. I need to ask what it is. And this is not the final cover. This is just a stand-in, but it is Trivium by Amber Wynn. I don't know if you can see. There it is. So I just started it last night. it's billed as like if you like Divergent and the testing and those kinds of books, you will probably like this, so I'm excited to dive into it. It's about a girl, Cassia, is that her name? Like I said, I'm like a chapter in, and it's all from her perspective, so she doesn't share her name much, but they live in this world that basically you have a chip in the back of your neck and it monitors every decision you make and your response to those, and then when you turn 17, you go to Trivium and it lays out your future for you in 3 different paths, and you choose which path you want to take. So basically, any decision that you need to make for the rest of your life, like the guiding decisions of what you're going to do for a career, who you're going to marry, it's laid out right there, and you just pick one of the 3. And so our main character is having a lot of anxiety around this, even though everybody else is like, no, it's easy, you just go and you pick it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm hoping to read this some more tonight to get into it. Then I'm going to go kind of rapid fire through these. The next book on my list that I'm a couple chapters in is The Unlikelies by Carrie Firestone. This one follows Sadie, who is in the summer before her senior year, and she accidentally stops a would-be child nabber and winds up famous on the internet and all of this stuff, and then things happen, and I guess she joins like a hometown heroes group, and they kind of like go vigilante justice all over the place. So I haven't got to that part yet. I just got to the part where she saves a kid. So I'm excited for this. It sounds good. It's been all over. It's a really cute cover. So we'll see how this goes. Next up is Finish by Jon Acuff. You know my love of Jon Acuff. This is his latest book. I haven't got to it yet, so I need to. This one I am like, I think I've made it 5 pages in so far. It's Made to Crave by Lisa TerKeurst. I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. It's talking about satisfying your deepest desire with God, not food, and so I thought I'd pick it up. I really like Lisa TerKeurst, but this might be a little too much Jesus woo-woo for me, but we'll see. I'm gonna give it a shot and we'll see how it goes. Finally on my list, this wasn't on my list until about an hour ago when Scott Westerfeld made an announcement that he is going back to this world, and I'm so excited. So now, obviously, I need to reread the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld because he just announced he's going to write 4 new novels in the series. I'm so excited. I would be a little bit more excited if it was a movie or a TV series, but I'm still really excited to go back into this world because I loved it so much the first time around, and it's been quite a while since I've reread it, and it's time. So it's time. So I'm gonna hopefully start this at least in February. The new series doesn't come out till September. The first book will get released. It's called Imposters, and it follows a different person. It's 10 years after this series, and so Tally is about 30 years old, and she's kind of in the background for most of the books is what his Q&A said, but she does have a bigger role as the series goes on. I'm just so excited. I am here for this series. So there you have it, the 3 books that I read in the month of January and the however many books that I'm going to attempt to read or at least read part of in the month of February. Let me know down below what your favorite book of the month for January was, and let me know what you're reading for February. I'd love to hear and maybe add some to my list because it's not like I have enough books or anything as I stare at the pile that comes up to my chest on my floor in front of me. It's fine. Everything's fine. I don't have too many books. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you soon. Bye!